Temperatures are still below freezing in a lot of spots. We're going to struggle to make it above the freezing mark in many communities. Check out Coleman, 21 degrees, 28 in Talladega. We are, I should say, starting to see that sunshine break through. That's going to help us out a little bit, but understand because it's windy outside, it feels colder than what the thermometer is showing you. So if you have to be outdoors today, just make sure you're bundled up, wearing lots of layers. Temperatures are going to feel like the teens here through lunchtime. A little bit later this afternoon, we're going to feel like the low 20s, but that's about as good as it gets today before those temperatures begin dropping again and we feel more like the teens headed through dinner time and into the evening. So cold weather advisory once again tonight into early tomorrow. What does that mean? That means it is just going to be downright cold. We've got temperatures that are going to dip into the teens in a lot of spots. Wind chill values will be colder than that, so hypothermia is possible. You want to make sure that you are protecting plants, pipes, pets, and then of course check on your neighbors as well. Early tomorrow morning, here are our temperatures. It's what the thermometer is going to show you. Teens in a lot of spots. I've got more details on this coming up in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Taylor.
Feels like temperatures from early this morning, but not all that much. We still feel like 11 degrees in both Haleyville and Coleman. It feels like 14 in Birmingham. So if you are headed out maybe to grab the lunch, just make sure you're bundled up. Maybe a good soup or chili or pot roast kind of day. Through the rest of the afternoon and into the evening hours, just not all that much of an improvement in the way it feels. The warmest it's going to feel like is the low 20s in some locations, but at least we've got sunshine. We're dry overnight and we are dropping steadily into the early morning hours. So for this afternoon, we do end up in the low 30s. We do climb above the freezing mark, but as we just talked about, it feels much colder than that. Tomorrow, we have a high near 40, but look at where we're going to be during the morning hours. Our morning low is in the single digits in a few spots, like Hamilton, likely to see a low of 8 degrees. Teens elsewhere, everybody just downright cold, and so there is another cold weather advisory that it goes into effect late tonight, last into tomorrow, and that means we're looking for wind chill values in the single digits. This is the kind of cold where frostbite and hypothermia are possible. So limit that time outdoors if possible during the early morning hours, during the coldest time of the day. As I mentioned, we do climb above the freezing mark tomorrow afternoon, so that's good news. We'll talk more about what the rest of the week looks like coming up in just a few.
All right.
Tomorrow morning, these are the types of temperatures where we have to talk about the possibility of frostbite and hypothermia. So these are the types of temperatures where it is dangerous. If you have to spend an extended period of time outside tomorrow, just be sure you are bundled up, lots of layers, and these are the types of temperatures, of course, as well, where we have to talk about those cold weather precautions. So make sure you're insulating those exposed pipes for this evening. Drip your faucets tonight. It's also a good idea to open up the cabinet doors underneath your sink to let some of that warm air from your home circulate around those pipes to keep them warm. Make sure your pets have somewhere warm to stay this evening, whether that be indoors or just somewhere that they can escape the cold temperatures this evening. Check on your friends and family and neighbors. Make sure everybody has a way to stay warm. Here's where we are right now. We are in the 20s and 30s. We're at 31 degrees in Birmingham. We just briefly got above the freezing mark today in Birmingham. Tuscaloosa sitting at 33 degrees, but those temperatures start dropping steadily as that sun goes down this evening. So we are looking at temperatures, and these are not feels like, these are just your temperature on the thermometer, reaching down into the teens by 1 a.m. and early tomorrow morning we'll have a mixture of single digits and teens to get you out the door. So dangerously cold as you're at that bus stop. Make sure you've got those layers on. I wanted to show you our projected lows, and I would not be surprised if there are a few locations in between some of these sites that actually see the single digits, some of our typically colder pockets, but everybody's starting the day very cold. There is going to be a little bit of improvement though as we head into the afternoon. So starting really cold, but as we move towards about lunchtime, we're reaching above the freezing mark, and there were some folks that didn't get above the freezing mark today. So this is going to be an improvement. We keep warming a little bit more tomorrow afternoon, eventually ending up in the low 40s for a lot of spots, especially south of I-20. And then as we look into the evening hours, of course, once that sun goes down, those temperatures start dropping, and we are expecting a really string of cold mornings here all the way through the rest of the week. Did want to point out, though, on Thursday, we are looking at highs that reach into the middle 40s, so that is going to be the warmest day of the week. That's still well below average for this time of year, and with lows each night well below freezing, we want you to take those cold weather precautions each evening. Looking towards the weekend, we're going to have to keep a close eye on this forecast. So we are seeing some signals that there could be another system that brings wintry weather to parts of the country. Now, are we talking about light snow here? We're still ironing out that forecast, but let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Jason Simpson for much more detail on what we're watching right now.
All right.